murders in this case, over which he has indicated to police he has no remorse. The weight of the evidence against the defendant is strong. He was identified on surveillance video from the Phoenix location and from the light rail and other video in Mesa, all wearing the same clothing. And the preliminary ballistics match the same gun, as firing at least one casing.
Number 5. A Parent's Nightmare. Born on March 5th, 2007 in Pontiac, Michigan, Kylete Owens was destined for greatness. He was a respectful son, a devoted grandson, and a loyal friend. An honor student at Everett High School, he had his sights set on graduation in 2025. His passion? Music. He dreamed of writing songs, becoming an artist, and making a name for himself. But those dreams ended on Memorial Day morning. At 2:50 a.m., near Rotary Park in downtown Lansing, gunfire shattered the night. A large crowd had gathered, celebrating the holiday weekend, until bullets ripped through the chaos. Kylete was caught in the crossfire, struck down alongside 6 others. Authorities say 2 groups with long-standing tensions turned the holiday into a battleground. But Kylete wasn't part of their feud. He was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. His 16-year-old cousin was also critically wounded, one more victim of senseless violence. To those who knew him, Kylete was unforgettable. His infectious energy, his love for basketball and football, and his deep devotion to family. He was the life of every room he entered, quick with a smile, always ready to bring joy. And then there was his hair, his dreads, his pride. "I've got the longest dreads in the world," he'd joke. But now, those jokes, that laughter, that light gone. His mother, Carmen Owens, now faces a reality no parent should endure. "Words can't express how much I will miss my baby," she says. "If the guns were off the streets, he'd still be here." As the Lansing community mourns, police continue their investigation, reviewing footage and searching for answers. But as of now, no arrests have been made. Memorial Day is a day meant for remembering those we've lost. But in Lansing, Michigan, it has now become a symbol of tragedy. Kylete Owens was just 17. His life was taken too soon. But the question remains, who pulled the trigger? If you have information, please come forward to authorities so this kid's family can have justice. Number 4. The Hollywood Broadwalk Horror. On Memorial Day, 2023, a time for celebration, but on Hollywood Beach, it became a war zone. Families gathered by the ocean, and children played along the boardwalk until gunfire tore through the crowd. In mere seconds, 9 people lay wounded, including a 1-year-old baby. It happened on May 29, 2023 at 6:41 p.m. The Hollywood Broadwalk, usually packed with tourists and locals, was filled with holiday revelers. But then, chaos erupted. An altercation between 2 groups spiraled out of control. Guns were drawn, bullets flew, and innocent bystanders were caught in the crossfire. Screams rang out as people ran for cover. Security cameras captured the frantic scene of families diving behind tables, beachgoers sprinting for safety, and the devastation unfolding in real time. 9 people were injured in the shooting, including 4 minors and 5 adults. Their ages ranged from 1 to 65 years old. A 1-year-old child suffered a gunshot wound to the leg. A 15-year-old was shot twice and was stabilized thanks to a bystander applying pressure to his wounds. Other victims included individuals aged 17, 25, 30, and 65, all rushed to Memorial Regional Hospital and Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital. 3 suspects were identified as the shooters: Ariel Carden-Paul, 16 years old; Jordan Burton, 15 years old; Lionel Jean Charles Jr., 18 years old. They were charged with attempted first-degree murder, 8 counts of attempted second-degree murder, carrying a concealed firearm. Additionally, Morgan DeLucias, 18, and Kashawn Stewart, 18, were arrested on firearms charges related to the altercation. Authorities recovered 5 handguns, 2 of which were reported stolen. 1 from Miami-Dade and another from Texas. Mayor Josh Levy condemned the violence, calling it beyond reckless. Police continued searching for 3 additional suspects, reviewing security footage and gathering evidence. The Hollywood Police Department's Violent Crimes Unit led the investigation, urging the public to come forward with information. At this time, there are no confirmed convictions or trial updates. The case remains under investigation, leaving victims and their families waiting for justice. 9 victims on Hollywood Beach became a reminder that danger can strike anywhere, anytime. The suspects are in custody, but the scars remain. The question is, how many more holiday celebrations will turn into tragedy? Number 3. The Red River Terror. The Red River Memorial Day Motorcycle Rally is an annual event in Red River, New Mexico, attracting tens of thousands of bikers from across the country. The rally, known for its live music, scenic rides, and camaraderie, has historically been a peaceful gathering. However, in 2023, the event took a deadly turn when rival outlaw motorcycle gangs clashed in a violent shootout. The 2 gangs involved were the Banditos and the Water Dogs, both known for their long-standing tensions. The conflict reportedly stemmed from a photo taken with another gang in Albuquerque, which reignited hostilities between the groups. On May 27, 2023, thousands of bikers arrived in Red River for the 41st annual motorcycle rally. Members of the Banditos and Water Dogs encountered each other on Main Street, where tensions escalated. A verbal confrontation turned into a physical fight, which then erupted into gunfire. Multiple rounds were exchanged between the 2 groups, sending bystanders into a panic. The gunfire broke out around 5 p.m., turning the rally into a scene of chaos. 3 men were killed, all identified as gang members. Anthony Silva, 26 years old, member of the Banditos, from Los Lunas, New Mexico. Damian Bro, 46, member of the Banditos, from Socorro, New Mexico. Randy Sanchez, 46, was a member of the Water Dogs from Albuquerque, New Mexico. 5 others were injured, including Jacob Castillo, 30, a Water Dogs member who was later charged with murder. 1 victim was airlifted to a Denver hospital, while others were treated locally. Jacob Castillo, 30, a member of the Water Dogs, was charged with murder and hospitalized after being wounded. Christopher Garcia, 41, was arrested for possession of cocaine, unrelated to the shooting. Matthew Charles Jackson, 39, was charged with unlawful carrying of a firearm in a liquor establishment. 4 other injured individuals were not immediately charged, but remained under investigation. New Mexico State Police Chief Tim Johnson declared zero tolerance for gang violence moving forward. Authorities urged witnesses to provide video footage to aid the investigation. The New Mexico State Police crime scene team continued gathering evidence. At this time, there are no confirmed convictions or trial updates. The case remains under investigation, leaving victims and their families waiting for justice. Red River became a battleground. Rival gangs, gunfire, and lives lost. The suspects are in custody, but the memory remains. Number 2. The Arizona shooting spree. Mesa, Arizona became a blood-stained nightmare. 5 separate shootings. 4 lives were stolen. 1 gunman hunting his victims without remorse. It started on May 26, 2023 in Phoenix. 41-year-old Nicholas Arnstad, a man just trying to survive, was found dead, a gunshot wound to the head. The killer, a 20-year-old man named Iren Chandre Byers, fled the scene, disappearing onto a bus. But this wasn't just a murder. It was the beginning of a spree. Hours later, Mesa police were called to another gruesome scene. Julian Cox, 41, lay dead in Beverly Park, executed. The gunman moved methodically, his targets seemingly chosen without warning. Midnight struck, and another shot echoed through the city. Stephen Young, 41, was found near Country Club Drive and 2nd Avenue, another victim, another life gone. Minutes later, gunfire erupted again. Angela Fonseca, 36, was shot in the face near Main and Stewart Streets. She survived, barely, but her future would be forever altered. By 2 a.m., John Swain, 40, was gunned down near South Extension Road. 5 attacks, a city paralyzed in fear. Iren Chandra Byers is just 20 years old. His motive? Hatred. He targeted drug users and the homeless, seeing them as disposable. To him, they didn't deserve medical help. There was no remorse, no regret, only death. Byers grew up surrounded by drug addiction, his own brother hooked on fentanyl. That anger fueled his rage, and on Memorial Day weekend, it turned deadly. Police tracked Byers using surveillance footage from buses, businesses, and crime scenes. When they finally caught up with him, he didn't fight. He confessed. He told officers without hesitation that he knew exactly what he had done. The weapon, a 9mm handgun. Shell casings confirmed it. Byers had fired every shot that ended 4 lives. Byers was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. But the deeper question remains. How did he reach this point? Was it hatred? Mental illness? A lifetime of resentment? His story is unsettling, but his actions were inexcusable. 5 shootings, 4 lives were lost, 1 gunman without remorse. Memorial Day, a time for reflection, is now soaked in tragedy. The suspect is behind bars, but the pain still lingers. The question remains, how do we stop the next spree killer before they strike?
Name and your date of birth.
Iren Chandre Byers, date of birth 4/10/2003.
Okay, thank you, sir. In this matter, the court does find probable cause for 4 counts of murder in the first degree, Class 1 felonies, and 1 count of attempted murder in the first degree, a Class 2 felony. I am appointing an attorney to represent you. I would like to turn to the state for any recommendation regarding release conditions.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state is requesting a $5 million cash bond. I'm going to go through the factors articulated in the statute. The nature and circumstances of the case are serious. The defendant committed 4 murders and 1 attempted murder in 2 different jurisdictions, in Phoenix and then in Mesa, within the span of about 12 hours. After killing 1 victim in Phoenix, he took the bus to Mesa, where he was staying at his grandmother's house, and then killed 3 other victims there and attempted to kill another separate victim. The defendant clearly poses a danger to others in the community, given the senseless murders in this case, over which he has indicated to police he has no remorse. The weight of the evidence against the defendant is strong. He was identified on surveillance video from the Phoenix location and from the light rail and other video in Mesa, all wearing the same clothing. And the preliminary ballistics match the same gun, as firing at least 1 casing left at each scene, with the exception of 1 Mesa location where no casing was found in the park, which was under irrigation at the time.
All right.
The defendant later...
Need to be quiet.
The defendant later admitted to committing each of these murders and identified himself in surveillance stills. The defendant normally lives in Scottsdale with family. He was staying at his grandmother's house in Mesa with family, and he does appear to have ties to the Phoenix metro area. He has no prior felony convictions for the court's information. The court should also consider the views of the victims in this case. One of the next of kin provided the court with a victim impact statement and does not want the defendant to be released given the harm that he's caused. If the defendant is able to post bond, his conditions would include electronic monitoring with house arrest, no direct or indirect contact with any victim, next of kin, or witness, and he may not possess a firearm or any weapons. He should not return to the scene of any of the offenses, and he should not consume alcohol or ingest or use illegal substances. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The court does want to note that it did receive a written next of kin victim representative impact statement. The court also considered that as well. At this time, the court makes the following findings. The proof is evident, or the presumption is great, that the defendant committed the above felony offenses. There is clear and convincing evidence that the defendant poses a substantial danger to the community, and at this time, no combination of release will reasonably assure the safety of the community, and that's pursuant to Rule 7.2b2. To reach its finding, the court considered all of the factors required in 7.2b3a through g. Unless the state moves to expedite the hearing, the court will set a bond eligibility hearing for no later than 7 days from today's hearing. The court will set a status conference for June 2nd at 8:30. There is an evidentiary or bond hearing set for June 5th at 1:30 in the afternoon, and then a preliminary hearing has been set for June 6th. So, Mr. Byers, I am holding you in custody without a bond at this time. Your lawyer will talk to you. You will have a bond hearing, or your lawyer will be there, the state will be there, and then the court will decide if you're eligible for a bond at that time. So they'll have an opportunity to re-review your release conditions. I am ordering that you not initiate any alleged victim or next of kin. Is there anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll stand in recess as to this matter.
Number 1. The bloodshed in Chicago. In Chicago became a battleground. In just 3 days, bullets tore through neighborhoods, leaving families shattered. 53 people shot, 11 killed. The city, once again, drowning in grief. It started with a single gunshot. A 33-year-old man found in Auburn Gresham bleeding out on the pavement. Then more shots echoed through the streets. William Hare, 35, struck down in Lakeview, never making it to safety. Jonathan Salgado, 22, standing on a sidewalk in Little Village, was shot in the chest, another name added to the growing list of the dead. And the most heartbreaking of all, a 5-year-old girl, Rain Ware, sitting in a car on Chicago's near West Side. A drive-by shooting. A life stolen before it even had a chance to begin. Chicago's streets became war zones. The victims, young and old, caught in the crossfire. 2 toddlers wounded. Families searching for answers. Police scrambling to contain the violence, knowing that the cycle would only continue. Even the mayor's neighborhood wasn't spared. A 36-year-old man was shot near Mayor Brandon Johnson's home, sending waves of fear across the city. But Chicago has seen this before. Every summer, the bloodshed returns. Some of the shooters were ghosts disappearing before police could catch them. But not all. Dontai McGregor, 20, arrested for first-degree murder linked to one of the weekend's killings. A young man with a violent history now facing life in prison. Edward Martinez Sermon, 24, wanted in connection to a mass shooting in Chicago Lawn. When authorities caught him in January 2025, ICE stepped in. He had entered the country illegally. Ricardo Granadillo Padilla, 25, another suspect in the Chicago Lawn attack. Arrested in North Carolina with multiple firearms, narcotics, and fake documents in his possession. But for the families of the 11 dead, justice still hangs in the balance. Chicago police continue their investigation, hoping to end the nightmare. McGregor's trial is underway, prosecutors pushing for the maximum sentence. Carmino and Padilla face felony charges, their fates yet to be decided. And as Chicago searches for answers, the cycle continues. A summer of violence, waiting to begin again. In Chicago, more lives were added to that list. 53 shot, 11 killed, and the city left with the same question it asks every year. When will senseless violence end? 5 tragedies, 5 cities, lives stolen in an instant. Memorial Day, a day of remembrance, now marked by violence. From Lansing to Chicago, Hollywood Beach to Mesa and Red River. Families mourn, communities search for answers, and across America, the same question remains. When does this? What can be done to stop senseless violence like this? Do you think stricter gun laws would prevent these tragedies? Which of these cases impacted you the most, and why? What can communities do to prevent Memorial Day from becoming a weekend of bloodshed? If you found these stories important, help keep their voices alive. Like, share, and spread awareness. Because these victims, they deserve more than just a headline. They deserve justice.